today we're going to cover something that I've seen come up again and again and again in our questionnaire and through so many concerned job seekers out there. It's how do I include and write the right key, I guess you could say, write the right keywords in my resume here. Most people make the mistake of going too wide and too shallow when it comes to targeting their dream job versus really demonstrating that hardcore relevance as they send out their resumes. So if you're ready to finally show that hiring manager that, oh my gosh, this resume that's right in front of your face, I'm just showing you that I am the right person for the job, then continue listening to this episode because I'm going to give you the full breakdown on how to write the right keywords for your resume. All right, I'm going to break this down into two different parts here. The first is creating your keyword word clouds, that is identifying the right types of keywords that should be used. And number two is how to integrate those keywords tactfully in our documents. So let's talk about creating our word clouds. Word clouds are something that I pull from time to time. It's a basic concept I use visually when I throw a bunch of words on a screen, and it allows me to kind of see and visualize what I'm targeting, what I'm going for here. So when you create your word clouds, two really important things to keep in mind. First is choosing the right amount of keywords for your word cloud. And the second is choosing the appropriate searchable keywords in your job search. By the way, if you want a word cloud generator, it's really easy to find this online. Just go to Google and type in word cloud generator, or we can even put this on the description of this podcast. You can even write this, like handwrite this on a notepad. It doesn't really matter. So as I kind of talk this through, just don't overthink it. So I'm pulling up a position here. This is just an example, a classic example of a job that someone might be applying for, a project manager position. So this is a project manager position here for Spa Glass here in Austin, Texas. And I'm going to have AJ speed my voice up really quickly because you probably don't want to hear me read through the entire job posting. So here it goes. It says job highlights, qualifications, bachelor degree in construction management, construction science, or any engineering construction degree. 6+ years of experience with project/construction management, some experience with commercial construction dealing with athletic facilities, higher education, government municipalities. Experience with Primavera, P6, Bluebeam, and or any construction management software. Experience in commercial or industrial construction, no residential. Projects range from $15 to $30 million JR minimum. All right, so that's just one piece of the job posting. And so what I'm going to do here is sort of extract the right types of keywords that I think are going to be used for this job posting. Just keep in mind, I know all of you are applying for more than one type of position out here. So as you create your word clouds, what you can do is kind of not just look at one job posting, but kind of identify a theme here. But just looking at this one job posting, I can tell you that the keywords that might be used are project manager, construction management, construction science. I see athletic facilities. I see government municipalities, higher education, and also those hard skills, Primavera, P6, Bluebeam, things like that. So as you can see, I am giving perhaps a collection of around 10-ish keywords that you would center this job posting around. There are probably a few more that I would add there, but I'm going to tell you that around 10 in this instance is what I would target for the appropriate amount of keywords. We're not talking dumping 50 to 60, 70 different types of keywords that I see in so many resumes that get sent my way. That's not what we're going for, but perhaps a small targeted amount of keywords. Now I'm going to note something here. In the keywords that I listed in as an example, I'm not necessarily targeting those soft skills that so many of us are throwing in our resume. Communication, stuff like that's really important. But instead, I would recommend relying more on position titles. I said the word project manager, and nouns common to the position, something like construction management and those pieces of software that I mentioned, which were Primavera, Bluebeam, things like that. One key point that I would like to make here, if some of you are listening saying, I know this, I get you here, but don't forget to make the critical decision, if you are applying for more than one type of position, you need to decide how many different word clouds and thus resumes you're going to have in your job search. Clearly in this job posting, it says experience in a commercial or industrial construction, and it says in parentheses, no residential here. So let's say you are somebody who has had that construction project management experience in both residential and commercial environments. Well, what I would want you to do is come up with two different resumes, one focused perhaps more on your residential experience and more that covers more of the commercial experience. And do not send that resume that is residential to this job posting. It explicitly says it wants to see your commercial type of experience. So in creating those word clouds, make sure that you have the appropriate keywords that are centered around the positions you're applying for. All right, I'm going to move on here, but I hope that you got kind of the key concepts here that I'm delivering. It's don't include a crap ton of keywords, kind of focus on those hardcore ones and focus more on nouns, hard things that are common to the position. Now, the next step in writing the right keywords in your resume is to integrate them tactfully. So one really dumb, simple way to include keywords in your resume, and I see this with many job seekers, I think this is okay, but it is to include a keyword section. We don't call this a keyword section, but something more along the lines of skills or qualifications, or if you're applying, for example, in the software engineering field, you might say software skills, things like that. But what I might do here is include, yes, that section there. If it's something that kind of is not as important as your professional experiences, let's say your professional experiences really shine and it looks really good, then I might include that skills section below your professional experiences section and kind of just let it grab the algorithm. But that's one way you can do it. But this is not the only way that I would recommend including keywords in your resume. This is very basic. And at the end of the day, if somebody opens up your resume and doesn't see how you've applied those skills, they are not going to see a resume that looks like a good match. So go beyond just including a skills section and integrate bullet points tactfully in your professional experiences section. That's the most important thing. And number two, especially for those career changers, include those keywords at the top of your resume in your summary. That's so important. So I'll talk about the professional experiences section real quick, because I think that is just crucial. You can't miss it. So in this project manager example, I identified Primavera P6 and Bluebeam as important software that this type of job would call for, a potential keyword. So instead of just dumping Primavera P6 and Bluebeam in the skills section, what I've done is formulated a bullet point that shows how I've used those skills in my construction experience. And I said, quote, problem solving and decision making, analyzed data from Primavera P6 and Bluebeam to make informed decisions and resolve issues in a dynamic construction environment. Now, if I was spending a little bit more time here, I might include a number, a percentage, or something that's a little bit more tangible. But I think this is a good start at including the appropriate keyword and showing hiring managers my actual experience, not just sort of dumping it on my resume, whereas so many people could quickly embellish the resume or lie about it. So just get really deep into that. The other point I'm going to make here when it comes to keywords, I said identify, perhaps those 10-ish keywords that can be used in a particular word cloud. From those 10 keywords, I would highly recommend picking the 3 most important keywords of that set. So what do I mean by that? Well, oftentimes you'll find that folks are searching the same things over and over again when they're looking for their ideal candidate. In that case, it may be something like the position title that you were looking for in a resume. So project manager, I might identify as a really important keyword to include in your resume if you're really gunning for those project management positions. So instead of just including it once, this is where you decide, heck, I'm going to make sure I have the words project manager, project management within the resume multiple times, not only in the skills section, but also the summary section and also the professional experiences section. you want to make sure that people do not miss this, we'll call it mission critical keyword here. So I'm trying to give you ways to think about how to be targeted in your job search. And I think repetition is one of the better ways to do that. All right. So this wraps up the keywords section for now. I'm going to shift on over to job seeker news. I have a new segment in the Career Warrior podcast called Job Search News. And today we're going to talk about hiring intentions for Q4. According to the latest Manpower Group Employment Outlook survey, employers are taking a more calculated approach for hiring in Q4. This is 2023. The study says that the data for Q4 reveals employers continue to plan measured hiring despite economic uncertainties. Globally, employers are beginning to moderate their hiring post-pandemic, with many focused on recruiting and retaining the business-critical skills they need to drive growth. The information technology industry looks like a bright spot for employment in the fourth quarter, with 39% of companies intending to hire within this space, followed by financials and real estate, which are 33%. Communication services was 31%, and healthcare and life sciences 31%, and energy and utilities 31%. According to the report, employers said that they are more willing to bring aboard candidates who are older and seeking employment changes. 34% have been unemployed due to caretaking responsibilities, and 27% have non-linear career paths and or are long-term unemployed. So I think this gives a lot of hope for those of you who are listening to this podcast. I have a lot of folks who submit their resumes saying things like, oh my gosh, I feel like age discrimination is kind of taking place here, or I feel like it's just really tough. It's a tough time for hiring right now. The truth is that it is a tough time for hiring. I'm not going to lie to you and kind of just paint a roses and unicorns and carrot cake. I don't know. I like carrot cake. I'm not going to paint this beautiful picture, but people are out there and they're still hiring. So my encouragement for you, my take on this piece of news is don't lose hope for hiring and get your resume, cover letter, and LinkedIn right in order. You never know if that perfect position is going to come your way, and you want to be ready for that time. So use the rest of 2023 as prime time to apply for these jobs, as other people may be kind of sitting back, taking a break and saying, I don't need the rest of this year to apply. I don't think it's a good time. I'm going to just wait till the holidays are over. Well, when the holidays are over, all of these people are going to be applying for positions, and you're going to have a lot of competition. So take October, November, December, take this time to get meeting the right people, to get your resume in order, and to find and grab that dream job of yours. If you're looking for a promotion, take now to ask your boss for constructive feedback and set up meetings in preparation for any potential end of year review. But it doesn't matter. I'd still recommend kind of getting that resume in order and telling you you're doing the right thing here by listening to this podcast. All right. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. I really enjoyed it. I know I went kind of at lightning speed here, but I wanted to make sure you got all the right value out of this episode. As I've mentioned, Let's Eat Grandma's helped around 9,000 professionals. So if you are a mid or senior level professional who wants someone to write their resume for them, head on over to let'seatgrandma.com and order one of our packages today. All right, Warriors, thanks so much for tuning into today's episode. I will see you next time. And for more on your job search, please make sure to check out Let's Eat Grandma's website at let'seatgrandma.com/CWP. That's where you can find her blog, attend job seeker events, and learn more about her awesome resume services. That's all. I'll see you next episode this Monday morning.